Here we gather again, warriors, not to chase fantasy, not to beg for attention, but to understand a truth most men learn too late. Machiavelli once suggested that fortune favors the bold, not the hesitant, and in many ways, attraction works the same. Because the woman you cannot stop thinking about is rarely moved by the man who wants her the most. She is moved by the man who knows himself, the man who does not collapse in her presence, the man who does not offer his soul too early, the man whose attention feels valuable, not desperate. Most men think women fall for kindness alone. They think loyalty is enough, effort is enough, availability is enough, and then one day they are shocked. She becomes cold. Her replies slow down. Her eyes change. The energy fades. And sometimes she gives to another man the excitement she no longer gives to the one standing beside her. Why does this happen? Why does a woman lose interest, even when the man is trying? Why do some women cheat even in long relationships, even in marriage? Why does the good man get forgotten, while the man with presence stays in her mind? Tonight, we go into that truth. Not the cheap version, not the internet clown version, but the deeper one. Through a Machiavellian lens, women are not conquered by words. They are moved by perception, emotion, tension, respect, and the silent force of a man who cannot be easily shaken. So if you want to understand what women secretly want in a man, listen carefully, because the truth is darker than romance and far more useful. 1. Women want strength they can feel. The first mistake most men make is thinking women only listen to what you say. They do not. They study what your presence says before your mouth opens. Your tone, your posture, your calmness, your patience, your ability to remain centered when tested. A woman may say she wants a nice man. And yes, kindness matters, but kindness without strength feels soft, predictable, unsafe in a deeper sense. Because what many women secretly want is not brutality, not arrogance, not fake alpha behavior. They want grounded strength, a man whose emotions do not run the room, a man who does not panic when ignored, a man who does not over-explain himself, a man who can desire deeply without losing control. This is where many men fail. The moment they like a woman, they begin leaking weakness everywhere. Too many messages, too much reassurance, too much need to impress, too much hunger to be chosen, and attraction begins to die. Why? Because desperation has no mystery, and what is easy to emotionally control is hard to deeply respect. A woman wants to feel that your attention means something, not that it is available at any second to anyone who smiles at you. 2. Women are drawn to emotional control, not emotional chaos. A lot of men confuse passion with emotional instability. They think intensity is attractive. They think jealousy proves love. They think overreacting shows how much they care. But a woman doesn't relax into a man who is ruled by every emotion. She may temporarily enjoy the drama. She may even get addicted to the emotional spikes. But deep respect, long-term trust, that usually goes to the man who stays composed. This is one of the most important truths. A woman may test you, not always consciously, but through small moments. She replies late. She changes tone. She mentions another man. She becomes distant. She disagrees sharply. She challenges your confidence. And in that moment, she is not only hearing your response, she is reading your nervous system. Do you become needy, defensive, angry, begging, passive-aggressive? Or do you remain clear, calm, and dignified? That is where attraction either deepens or breaks, because emotional control sends a message words never can. I like you, but I do not lose myself because of you. And that sentence, spoken without being spoken, has power. 3. Women want self-respect because it creates respect. Many men try to keep a woman by giving more attention, more compromise, more tolerance, more forgiveness, more chasing. But self-betrayal is not love. And women can feel when a man has abandoned himself just to keep them. The man who says yes to everything, who accepts disrespect, who has no standards, who changes his values to avoid losing her, may remain around for a while, but he slowly becomes invisible. Because what women secretly admire is not blind devotion. It is self-respect. A man with standards, a man with boundaries, a man who can walk away from confusion, a man who does not beg to stay where he is not valued. This is why some men become unforgettable. Not because they were the richest, not because they were the funniest, not because they texted perfectly, but because they carried a quiet message. You will not get access to me by offering half-hearted energy. And that changes everything. A woman may not always like boundaries in the moment, but she often respects them more than endless tolerance. Because boundaries tell her that your identity is not for sale. 4. Women need mystery more than men realize. Most men kill attraction by explaining too much. They reveal everything immediately. Their intentions, their fears, their full emotional attachment, their whole schedule, their whole mind. And then they wonder why the tension disappeared. Attraction feeds on partial discovery, not manipulation, not mind games, but depth that unfolds over time. A woman does not stay fascinated by a man she has completely figured out in 3 days. Mystery matters because it keeps emotional space alive. It gives her something to feel into, something to wonder about, something to return to in her mind. This does not mean acting cold. It means not over-delivering your soul to someone who's not yet earned it. Talk less, reveal slowly. Let your life have weight outside of her. A man becomes more attractive when he clearly has an inner world, a mission, a rhythm, a direction. Not because he is playing a role, but because his entire identity is not standing at her door, waiting for a reply. Mystery is not silence alone. It is substance that is not immediately consumed. And women remember men who make them feel curiosity. 5. Women are moved by decisiveness. Indecision weakens masculine presence faster than men think. A woman may forgive awkwardness. She may forgive imperfection. She may forgive nervousness. But chronic indecision, that erodes attraction. Why? Because decisiveness signals leadership of self. It tells her you know what you want. You can choose. You can act. You can move life forward. This shows up in small things. Choosing the place. Making the plan. Speaking directly. Not dragging every interaction through endless uncertainty. Many men hide behind, "I'm being respectful," when really they are afraid. Afraid to lead. Afraid to risk rejection. Afraid to state desire. Afraid to move. But women often respond more strongly to a clear man than to a perfect man. A man who says calmly, "This is what I want. This is where I stand. This is how I move." That energy feels different because hesitation drains polarity. Decisiveness creates it. Not domination, not force, just clarity. And clarity is rare enough to be attractive. 6. Women notice social value, even when they deny it. Another hard truth. Women are deeply influenced by how a man moves through the world, how others respond to him, how he carries himself in groups, whether he has purpose, whether he is respected, whether he is building something. This does not mean you need fame, or money alone, or status symbols. It means you need weight. A woman is more likely to stay mentally attached to a man whose life feels meaningful, a man with goals, discipline, a future, a sense of direction. Many men lose women not because another man was better looking, but because another man felt more alive, more driven, more respected, more dangerous in a constructive way, more connected to his mission. That matters. Because women do not only fall for affection, they also fall for momentum. And when a man stops growing, stops leading himself, stops evolving, she may still stay physically present for a while. But internally, attraction starts packing its bags. This is one reason interest fades in long relationships. Not always because of betrayal, not always because of lust. Sometimes because the man she once admired became static, comfortable, emotionally dependent, predictable in the worst way. And attraction often dies where growth dies. 7. Consistency is what turns attraction into attachment. Now here is where many men misunderstand everything. They hear mystery, strength, boldness, and think the answer is to become emotionally unavailable. Wrong. A woman may be attracted to intensity, but she bonds with consistency. Not boring routine, not dead energy, but reliable character. Can she trust your center? Can she trust your word? Can she trust that your mood will not rewrite your values every week? This is what separates short-term fascination from long-term imprint. Women remember men who are both strong and stable, a man who is confident but not chaotic, mysterious but not dishonest, decisive but not reckless, emotionally controlled but not cold. That balance is rare, and rarity creates value. This also explains cheating in some relationships. People always look for one simple reason. She was bad. She was disloyal. She was bored. Sometimes yes, but often the deeper truth is this. The relationship lost tension, lost admiration, lost emotional polarity, lost respect, lost aliveness. And when emotional hunger grows inside a person, they may seek elsewhere what has died at home. That does not excuse betrayal. But if you want to understand reality, you must look past moral slogans. A woman stays mentally connected to a man who keeps the emotional architecture alive. Respect, tension, trust, movement, and presence. So how do you stay in her mind? Not by texting all day. Not by trying to become unforgettable through performance. Not by begging to be chosen. You stay in her mind by becoming a man whose energy leaves a mark. Speak with intention. Disappear into your purpose. Do not react to everything. Do not over-explain. Do not chase after every dip in attention. Lead yourself. Respect yourself. Reveal yourself slowly. And never let your entire identity hang from a woman's approval. Because the men women obsess over are rarely the men who tried the hardest to impress. They are the men who felt complete before she arrived, and valuable even if she left. That is the deeper Machiavellian lesson. Perception matters, timing matters, boldness matters, but above all, power begins with self-command. And a man who commands himself is far harder to forget. So warriors, if you want women to see you differently, stop asking how to please them. Ask instead, have you become a man who is difficult to shake, difficult to replace, difficult to fully read, and impossible to disrespect? Because women may speak about love, but attraction listens for strength. Not loud strength, not fake strength, not cruel strength. Quiet strength, controlled strength, chosen strength. That is what stays in her mind. And that is what most men never understand until it is too late.